When I had my first baby, and I know lots of you are going to relate to this, especially from some of the comments, I had the most ginormous suitcase. And I now think that what happens is the more children you have, the smaller your case gets or the bag gets. Because we go into the first one thinking, oh my God, I need all of it. I don't even know what I need, but I'm going to pack every single thing I could possibly need. And then there's no worries, right? Which is absolutely fine. If that makes you feel better, if that makes you feel organized, that's great. What I'd say is that caused me a lot of stress, actually. And when I was trying to find things in the moment, like during labor and afterwards, I had no idea where anything was because there was so much stuff. Also, I probably didn't organize the bag in the kind of the ways that I'm seeing people organize bags these days, which is like amazing. Freezer bags and packing cubes and things like that, which is great. But also I definitely overdid it and I definitely overthought it. You don't need it. You don't need it all. And we'll talk about what we do need, okay? If I were to go to hospital today to give birth, I'd probably take like a little weekender bag. My bag was like before when I had a hospital birth 5 years ago, I took, you know, the giant holiday suitcase, the biggest one you could find. That's what I had. So I wheeled that in, well, my husband wheeled that into the hospital. And I had a baby bag on top of that, which we left in the car because there was just too much stuff to carry in. All right, so if you think you've gone overboard, you probably have. It doesn't matter though. If it makes you feel better and it makes you feel organised, that's fine. But there probably is space to cut back. Just to simplify it all for you, for your headspace, for you when you're there, for things that are easier to find. Now, what I think is really important about packing the bag is that your birth partner knows where things are. So it's all great packing your bag so that you know where things are, but does your birth partner know where things are? Because let's say in an ideal world, you are labouring, you know, physiologically you are kind of in the throes of labour, you are unable to respond. You're unable to have those moments where you go, oh, could you just find my hair tie because my hair's in my face. You won't be able to do that, especially if you're right in the throes of labour, okay? So who do you need to find that hair tie for you? Your birth partner. And if that's under mounds of other things, it's going to be difficult to find. And things like that, getting your hair off your face when you're hot and sweaty and trying to focus and trying to get the gas in air or just trying to breathe, or your hair's all over your face when you're trying to move in positions, it's not what anyone wants. You know, we just want that hair tie right now. If you've been in labour before, you'll get that. You'll understand. So think about, you know, easy access. Does your partner know where it is? And another thing, do they know what it's for? Really, really good point. Because I've gone on and on about my favourite item in labour, which was a flannel. And, you know, I don't even know why I packed the flannel. I don't even know what it was in there. I just had thrown a flannel in because that was, you know, I threw everything in my suitcase. But my husband used the flannel and it was great on my forehead. But there would have been other things in that bag that he had no clue. He would have had no clue what I put them in for. And I just put them in because I thought I should. But actually, if I had said to him in the moment, I need my frankincense oil, he wouldn't have known what for, why, where to put it, how much, where is it? So think about those things. We're going to talk about comfort measures and your comfort kit and stuff like that. That's no good being in your bag if somebody else can't help you administer it, because again, in the throes of labour, hopefully you won't have a clue how to find that oil because you're going to be so focused on you and your labouring body. All right. So this is where things like freezer bags with labels on can be great, just so you know that it's there. You can go to town. You can put the reason why it's there on the freezer bag. For example, some people, as we talked to Laura about her breech birth on Wednesday, she used aromatherapy oils during her labour, and you know, someone needed to know what those are oils for, and there are different things at different stages of labours, and if you're somebody that is using those, then you're going to want to tell somebody else. It's all good you knowing it, but somebody else is going to have to administer those oils or those drops or those rescue remedies or the arnica or whatever it might be. All right. The other thing to mention is obviously during COVID, I don't know if some of the things I'm going to say are like recommended or not. For example, what I found was something I hadn't really thought about was we left our baby bag in the car until the baby had arrived, which was fine because you get hopefully lots of time for skin to skin, and that first hour to 2 hours of just you bonding, feeding, all that good stuff. However birth unfolded, hopefully we'll still have that, and that gives time to go and collect anything afterwards. And there's time to go and find the baby grows and go to the car again. I know that in COVID times, some people said, we can't actually do that. We're not allowed to go in and out of the hospital. But it's just something to mention. And also, there was something else I was going to mention. Anyway, we'll carry on. So what do you need? So I'm going to go in order of you first, because actually you are the most important person in the birthing room. Your needs need to be met as much as possible. And let's start with you so that we kind of keep instilling in ourselves how important you are in this, okay? So let's pack in reverse also. So let's put in the things that we're going to need right at the end first. And we put the things that we need immediately at the top, okay? So that includes baby stuff if you're packing it in the same bag. That can go right at the bottom of the bag, can't it? Because you won't need a nappy for a while, yeah? As exciting as it is and as lovely as it is to pack those nappies, you won't need it for a while. So put all the baby stuff down the bottom. We'll also have birth partner stuff as well, of course, but that could be separate or it could be nearer the top as well. Baby stuff at the bottom. Okay, so number one most important thing, not a most important thing, there are loads. One of the most important things is maternity pads. Now, you may or may not know, but after giving birth, whether that is vaginally or abdominally, you are going to lose blood, okay, from your vagina. Now, this is sometimes a surprise with people who are having abdominal births because we expect that the body won't shed that blood in the same way or at all, but all births, however you birth, your body needs to eject tissue from its body, and this is lochia, and this will come out in your body in quite great deals of blood. I remember being told you might bleed a little bit. It's not might bleed or a little bit, you will bleed, and you need big pads, okay? So sanitary towels aren't really as effective in those early days following birth. You need really big maternity pads, and pack loads of them, because you're going to want to go through you will be going through them regularly, and we don't know how long we're going to be staying in the hospital postnatally. Now, hopefully, and I know during COVID times, the midwives are doing such a great job at getting people home as long as everything is well and good, and baby's fine, and your feeding choices have been supported, and you're able to go home and feed that baby, however that might be. So hopefully you'll be home soonish, but we don't know how that birth will unfold, and we might need to be there for a couple of days, who knows. So pack a lot of the pads, because that is something that you're just going to want to have to hand, okay? Hey Laura. Pat bags are the best. Oh, I've never heard of pat bags. What are they? Are they cubes? Tell. Okay, next one for mum, for you, is what you're going to wear over those pads, and that for me personally is massive, big, black pants. Some people like the disposable pants, like the paper ones. Personally, I just chose the biggest black comfortable cotton pants that I could find. M&S, thank you. And they are going to be what you need. You'll need something that you can use to really feel comfortable, that keep your pad in nice and comfortably, but also considering whether or not you're having an abdominal birth, something that's not going to be uncomfortable or dig into your wound. And someone just asked about how many pads. I would pack a couple of packs of pads. It's also really good to note that most hospitals have shops within them, don't they? I know mine has a Boots and others and things like that. You can go and get them, so don't let it panic you. Anything I say today, please don't let it stress you out, because I love the thought that anything we need we can actually get. Somebody can get it for us. Midwives are amazing at helping us, as are our birth partners. So don't stress too much, please. We're just enjoying this. We're enjoying the packing, yeah? So you've got your big black pants. The reason I say black is, well, I'll go on to that later, okay? The next thing you might want to have in your bag is paracetamol. Paracetamol is recommended to take after giving birth if you are feeling any discomfort, and that could be for stitches, that could be for basically during your feeds following your births, more so with subsequent babies, but you actually can feel contractions in your uterus again after giving birth. Now, with your first baby, these normally aren't so strong, and you might not even feel them. With my second son, I was absolutely gobsmacked at the contractions I was feeling after having him. They were really quite intense, and it was my uterus contracting back down again, which is normal. It happens. This is great. It's a response from our feeding, but it was really, really quite painful. And once you've given birth, the last thing you want is to continue being in pain if you don't have to. You know, if you've had contractions for your labour, you don't want to be having contractions now. You want to be over that. You want to be enjoying that time as much as possible. Stay comfortable. So pack some with you. And again, I'm sure you can get something like that in the shops, okay? And with the hospitals, they may well give it to you, but I would just like to have it with me so that I've got it throughout the night if I wanted to take more rather than have to ask. Or, you know, you might just be in your own little space and you just have access then to your paracetamol. Okay, but yeah, of course, if you didn't have any, the hospital would provide you. All right, so the next thing on there for you is pajamas and loungewear. But I've put dark colours. Now, the reason I say dark colours, and this is why I said dark pants as well, is because with the loss of blood after giving birth that you'll experience, this can be quite heavy. And of course, there could be a chance that it's going to leak. And if you're in a hospital or if you're wandering around, you just might feel more comfortable if that is disguised a little bit, if it happened and you didn't know. Dark pajamas, dark joggers, and let's keep these loose, guys. Keep it loose and comfortable. You know, we don't want to be wearing things like, probably not anyway, leggings and tight-fitting things after giving birth. You know, your body is deserving of comfort and ease. So things like harem pants, you know, those lovely, I love harem pants or yoga pants, dark trackies, pajama bottoms, and pack a couple of pairs, you know, just in case we did have any leakages, but also just so you've got a couple there in case you need them. And with that comes anything that you want to wear home, which is kind of the same thing. Wear your pajamas home, wear your comfy stuff home. There needs to be no dressing up to go home, okay? I promise you, you just want to be comfortable. Now with that, I really recommend considering with your pajamas or your loungewear, getting anything that you wear after birth, something that buttons up. And this is because it's so much easier for skin to skin, and it's so much easier if you are breastfeeding, rather than playing around with pulling tops up, you know, especially if we're not used to, if we haven't done this before, especially with breastfeeding. I know that, you know, I didn't have a breastfeeding journey really with my first, and with my second, I was really aware of the amount of time I wanted to have skin to skin and let him find the breast and things like that. So having a top that I had to keep up the whole time and like under my chin while I did this sort of stuff with him, no, just unbutton as much as you can, open, and then your whole chest is clear, your breasts are there, and you can just button back up when you need to. It might sound so simple and silly, but I didn't know that when I had mine. And also anything that's too too hot, like fleecy pajamas, it can be, actually someone just put cotton PJs as hospitals are so warm. It can be so hot in those hospitals, the maternity wards as well. I think that's probably to keep our babies nice and warm. But my goodness, it is boiling, and you can feel lots of after giving birth, especially in the days afterwards when your milk's coming in and your hormonal, you know, the hormonal changes are happening. So keep it cool. Long sleeves, I'd say try not to. Keep it short sleeved, nice and airy fairy. Pack a jumper if it's cold and you want to have something to go home in, but keep yourselves cool and button up. Comfy slippers or socks. Again, it might be too hot, but these are just nice little things to have with you that make you feel cozy and homely. Now, people always say, don't they, pack a dressing gown. I used to hear that, pack a dressing gown. But I used to think, when I had a hospital birth, I mean, it was just so hot. But it's up to you. Keep it dark and keep it thin. But it's a great, I guess, if you're going to be wanting to just wrap up to walk to the toilet and things like that, that might be really useful. Discuss below if you found it a useful item. But keep it a cool one. You certainly don't need a really hot fleecy one. I wouldn't have thought. Okay, so let's talk about toiletries. Keep it simple, keep it small size. We're hopefully not even going to require them for long because hopefully, if all is well, we can be home soonish. But things like, you know, your basics, lip balm. If you were using gas and air during your birth, you may well find that your lips are dry. Also, you may well find that you've become dehydrated because you were labouring for a long time or you were in a warm pool. You know, all of these things. Lip balm. Lip balm. Toothbrush. The best thing you'll do after giving birth is brush your teeth, other than, of course, like being with your baby. But, you know, that feeling of brushing your teeth and, yeah, wash your face, moisturise, dry shampoo. Pack a little bit of dry shampoo, but you don't need a lot. And again, remember, you're in a whole, you know, ward full of other new parents who are likely to have these items, and midwives can help you. And if you went into labour 4 weeks early and had nothing packed, you went to hospital, you'd be fine. You'd be fine. And the last thing we're going to think about is having dry, shiny hair, dry shampooed hair, and, you know, perfectly moisturised, cleansed, toned and moisturised skin. That is not a priority, but it depends what it makes you feel good. And for me, it's things like, so once I gave birth to my son, which was quite a little bit traumatic, I got into a little shallow bath about an hour later. And I just sort of sat in this bath, and my midwife brought me over my toothbrush. She was like, do you want your toothbrush? And I was like, yeah, I really do. And I just brushed my teeth and I felt brand new. It's things like that. And I love to have moisturiser on my face because I get really dry skin after washing with water. And so just that, you know, it just makes you feel a little bit more looked after, right? So whatever that might be for you. I don't know what I do without you, Lucy. You're preparing me in the best way. Use a dressing gown first time as had to go into the corridor to get breakfast. I'm taking sliders for showering in and walking around. Sliders are a great idea, or slider slippers are great as well for that. Okay, something that I know I would have forgotten, my glasses or contact lenses, and I really need them. So don't forget them. Don't forget them. Pack a spare pair right now. Pack a spare pair of contact lenses right now. You know, don't be without them. There's nothing worse, is there, when you have forgotten them and you're trying to message all your friends and family to tell them that your baby's arrived. You can't actually see the messages. You know, pack them right now. Something you might want to pack also is a mask, spare mask. I don't know what the rules are right now within maternity wards and units with PPE. You know, I don't think, really hope you don't have to wear them during labour, because I think that all got sorted out. But pack a mask for afterwards, because when you're leaving the hospital, you'll probably need to wear a mask in the other areas of the hospital. So pack a couple of them for you and your partner as well, so that they're all done. Snacks and drink cartons. Pack. This is also for, all of this is for afterwards. We're also going to talk about snacks for birth as well. Snacks and drinks. So pack a few things that might be really nice for you to just have on hand. Things that are full of nutrients like fibre and whole food bars and juice drinks, you know, or things that might be quite nice for you to have afterwards. Just to have it there to pick on. You know, again, you hopefully will be home soon enough, but there's no harm in putting in a couple of whole food bars and like little orange juice cartons or some energy drinks or something like that for afterwards. You will get fed, guys, okay? You'll get fed and watered, but home comforts are nice, aren't they? Arnica for recovery. Some people like to take arnica with them to help aid their recovery, which is a great idea. And you might want to pack some arnica tablets or cream. And hair ties and hair bands for afterwards as well, okay? So have them in a little bag ready to go. These are separate from the hair ties and bands that you'll want for birth, because remember, we don't want our birth partners to be like, I don't know where your hair ties are, and then they find them, and then when you're after giving birth and you want to shove your hair up later and you want a different hairband or you want a bigger hairband, you've lost the bag because it was in the heat of labour. So you want separate. Okay, so that is kind of the guts of it for you. Oh, and somebody mentioned, which is great, plastic bag for any dirty clothes to take home. Great idea. So a couple of plastic bags are great, and that's it, I think, for you. Okay, we'll go on to you during birth now. So this goes on top and really nicely. Oh, so we'll go for you and birth, and then we're going to go for baby, which can go, you know, at the bottom again or in a separate bag. So giving birth then. So what are you going to need when you get to your hospital? Because they're the things that go at the top. Yes, we have a partner bag as well. Thank you. We recommend a dad bag too. I've got a partner bag coming up. Cool. Thanks for sharing all your ideas, guys. Okay, so for birth plan and preferences sheet. Now, if you are doing a birth preferences or birth plan or birth map, which I really, really encourage, I think they're great. We talked about them before. We'll talk about them again, don't worry. Pack it. Don't forget it. And pack it somewhere that is easily accessible. You know, they'll want your pink notes. I think they're pink. They might be green now. But your maternity notes, they'll want those as well. Try not to leave them at home. But again, I've had a family friend who went into labour in a whole different city to the one that she's assigned to. Her trust was somewhere completely different. She gave birth in a whole different city. Her pink notes weren't with her, or her green notes. Her stuff wasn't with her. Everything was fine, all right? But just, you know, if you can pack them, pack them. Okay, so a TENS machine. I've talked quite a lot about TENS machines and how great they are for labour. I really, really recommend them. Not everybody will like them and want to use them in labour, but there's no harm in packing one. You can also rent them from the hospital or other, I think you can rent them online, I think people have said, or borrow them from a friend. You don't need to go and buy a brand new TENS machine. You might not find it's for you, especially if you're having any back labour. But, you know, when you're not having back labour, they can be a really, really nice comfort measure. So pack your TENS machine. Remember what I've said before, make sure that your TENS machine can be operated without you using it, without you. So practice it. Ask your partner to practice with you, putting buttons on. I know it might sound ridiculous, but I hadn't got my TENS machine out of my bag during my first, out of its box when I went into labour for the first time. I would not have known how to even what it felt like, where I wanted it, what to do. I wouldn't have known. So have a quick practice beforehand. Headphones. Pack them now, put them in. This is for using for music if you're wanting it on your headphones in your ears, or you might want music played on sort of just on the device out loud, or if you're practicing hypnobirthing or if you're practicing using visualizations or hypnotherapy or relaxations or guided meditations, you know, any of that, headphones. You know, we're also going to talk at the end about whether if you're having an induction, because if you're having an induction, you'll probably also want to pack some kind of entertainment, if it's going to be quite, you know, a few days and things like that. So you might want to take an iPad, you might want to take reading books and things like that, but we'll talk about that, okay? So headphones, take a charger. Pack it in your bag. Do not forget the charger. There's going to be one charger in your bag and one charger in partner's bag, just in case. Chargers these days, right? We've got our music and we've got our cameras on our phones. How important are those two things? We've also got, of course, your downloads, your relaxations and things like that. So pack that charger. Pack two. Eye mask. Now think about this. Are you using the eye mask only during labour? If so, put it in the bag. Or do you want your eye mask on the way to your hospital? Because if you're going to wear it in the car, don't faff about trying to find it before getting in the car. Put it in the car now, so it's there. Pack two. Put one in your bag and one in the car. If you're really relying on an eye mask as a comfort measure, which again is great for blocking out any of the distractions that we can have on the way to the hospital. Thank you, long cables for the charger. Great idea as well. Yeah, things like blocking out the traffic lights of the cars or the bright lights when you arrive in the hospital, or when you're really trying to stay focused. Again, if you're doing hypnobirthing or any other techniques that really require you to zone in, an eye mask can be really great. So have one ready to get in the car with, not one that you then have to find. My favourite, most important item for birth, a straw or a drinking bottle with a straw. It's just so important. It's so simple, but doing this with a bottle of water when you're trying to really labour and really focus is distracting. It's not conducive. What you want to do is be like this, and then you can do this. So simple, transformative. Partners need to know why that straw is in there. They need to know. My partner nearly drowned me with a bottle of water. Yeah, classic, isn't it? Hey, have some drink of water. I can't lift my head up. No, just drink some water. You need to keep hydrated. I can't even move my head because you're just so zoned in. I don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. It doesn't feel right. Straw underneath. Thank you. I'm done. Yeah? Pack it. Pack a couple. Nearly went forward there. Oils. If you're using oils, which are wonderful in labour, what are they and what are they being used for? Because you're not going to be going and finding them. So if you're using a room spray, if you're using different oils throughout your labour, if you're relying on certain scents to get you through transition or different stages of your labour, label them. Because you are not going to be, hopefully, as I say hopefully, because you're hopefully going to be so zoned out, going to be thinking of exactly the scent that you require at that time. But if there is a bag that says oils for labour, or use if transitioning, or use if panicking, use to keep calm, lavender, how do you want them to use it? Do you want them to put it straight on your skin, or do you want them to put it on a muslin? Okay, so if you're putting it on a muslin, where's the muslin? Get the muslin in the same bag. Put it on the freezer bag. 2 drops on this muslin under my nose. Done. Simple. And I know that this might sound so patronising, mightn't it? And I don't, that's God, never what I want to do. It probably does sound really patronising, but if you're watching this having not experienced this before, I'm only speaking from trying to help, because it's not that people don't know what to do, but what we don't want to do is be like the carpet's been pulled from under our feet and we're all like, oh my God, I don't know now where things are. It's because labour can go like that, especially if you've never felt it before or experienced it before. So use it to your advantage. There is nothing wrong with being overly, obvious about things that you want. It doesn't matter, does it? What matters is that you give yourself every chance to have a great experience. And that means being able to switch off. That means being able to zone in. And that might mean that one oil transformed how you felt at that moment. I know that worked for me. And, just what you don't want to be doing is thinking, oh no, I need that and I don't know where it is. And that's not what we want, okay? And I know that if I had watched this sort of video as my first pregnancy, I probably might have thought, come on. But I know it's going to help. Right, snacks and drinks for labour. We need our energy, we need our fuel. So again, pack nutrient-dense food. So, wholesome food bars if you can. I actually made myself some almond and chia seed balls to take to the hospital. Didn't take them. Wish I had though. But things like really lovely energy foods. Pack a pack of sweets is great. With the sugar, it's great. It's going to help you. It's going to get you through. But don't overdo the sugar, because overdoing the sugar can then make you super dehydrated and can cause havoc with your blood sugar levels as well. If you're just constantly snacking on sugar for like 12 hours, that's also going to go against you. So don't just think sugar. Let's think about all sorts of things. as much as we can. Think about energy bars. Water is great. Water is better, if possible, than energy drinks because it's water, it's pure, it's hydrating you. Whereas again, energy drinks, there's a lot of sugar in there, and we want to think about the marathon effect, don't we? So little bits here and there are great. Little bits of sugar to get you through the next step is great. But if we only go on sugar, we're going to eventually kind of burn out as well. And again, it could be a game changer. You know, again, I've heard many stories of people just being absolutely exhausted, can't do anymore. They have a bit of sugar, they have that fuel. Of course, it's science. We can keep going, okay? And yes, fibre is great for after giving birth. Flannel, said it before, I'll say it again. Flannel, why? What do you want it for? Tell them what it's for. Water, do we need to pack our own water? No, I wouldn't have thought so. I would take a bottle of water filled up, but then you could, a refillable one, but then you can refill it definitely there. Okay, something to wear if you're having a pool birth, but I mean, I was stark naked for my whole first birth. You might not even wear anything, which is absolutely normal, but you might just want to have a top on if you feel that you'd like to be covered up. Of course, we're not going to wear any bottoms going into our pool birth. Hair ties and hair bands. Get that hair off your face so that you can focus, so that you can breathe. Chewing gum or mints. Actually, these should go in for afterwards as well, but chewing gum, you might just want that. I remember saying, I just want a chewing gum, I just want a bit of mint. I just need to feel fresh again. Phone charger, I think I said it already. And a camera. And that might just be on your phone, okay? But some people have taken GoPros before to hospital. You know, we had a whole camera system set up at home to film our birth, and that is something that I really recommend. If you think that you might like to look back on your birth, then film it as much as you can, or ask your partner to just make lots of videos. It's really interesting to look back on yourself in labour. I think it's really fascinating to see your movements and your how you were, because when you're doing it, you can't kind of recall. It's amazing what happens after labour. You can't really recall the story because it just kind of happens. So video footage is always really nice. Okay, and then oh no, I've skipped forward. I think that's it for your birth. Okay, so let's go into the next part, which is your baby. And this isn't because your partner doesn't matter. This is just because in order of packing now. Okay. Partner, it's quite a babies. They actually need very, very little, guys. We think we can overthink what they might need and require. Babies only need you, warmth, milk, a nappy, lots of love. They don't need a lot of stuff, okay? And remember, babies are being born all the time in, on the side of the roads, and they're getting to hospital at some point, or they're getting home at some point, and they don't need a lot. They can just be with you, on you, and they will have everything they need. Okay, so if you want to pack for your baby, your nappies, cotton wool. So using cotton wool to wipe your baby's bottoms is really great, just to stick to water for as long as you can, actually. Even ahead of water wipes, I'd stick to cotton wool and water. Water wipes still have a small amount, I believe, of chemical in them, I believe. Not as much as normal baby wipes, but keep that skin pure, keep their skin releasing its own natural oils to keep their skin resilient and ready for the outside world. So keep it pure if you can. So pack a pack of cotton pads, big ones, to wipe their first poo, their meconium poo, very sticky, like tar. Lots of water and cotton wool. Some baby grows, maybe 3 little baby grows, 3 vests, however many you feel most comfortable with. If you have a specific outfit you want them to wear, I know that's sort of a thing people like, put it in a separate bag, put it on there, or put 3 baby grows in one bag and say newborn baby grows, another bag newborn baby vest, so that when you are busy having your skin to skin and your midwives and your birth partner are really helping out and kind of doing all their stuff, looking after you, they can go and find the bits that they need for when baby is ready to have that stuff. You don't need to be moving, doing, looking, searching. You are just resting like the goddess that you are. A hat is nice, but what I'd say is there's actually no evidence to suggest it could be just a bit detrimental to your bonding time. You want to smell and soak them in, and you want to kiss their heads and let them soak you in as well. So there's no rush for the hat. If it's freezing cold, fine, but we're indoors in a really warm hospital. They should not be sleeping in hats, I believe as well. So hats are fine, but don't let it stop you from having that skin to skin time with them underneath your chin and just, being there. We don't need to, Mittens could be quite good if they've got a little bit longer nails when they're born, just in case they're a bit scratchy. Maybe one muslin square, just in case you need it, but it's unlikely in those first days, because remember, if they're drinking breast milk, it's colostrum, and colostrum is very thick. It's not watery and milky, and it's unlikely to be coming out of their mouths in that way. If you're formula feeding, you might want to have a muslin with you in case they do. And a blanket to go home underneath in their car seat and things like that. So your baby's blanket. And if you are choosing to formula feed your babies, then of course you're going to want to have that with you. But I do believe that midwives would have it if you didn't. But if that's what you're wanting to do, then you can take that with you as well. Okay? And that's really simple for babies. That is it. That really is. Unless I've missed anything big, that really is it. Is it suggested not to kiss babies on the face? I don't think from you. Other people, there are worries about other people passing on viruses to your baby, but not from mum and partner. But please correct me if I'm wrong. I just wouldn't have thought so, but okay. Partner's bag. Partner's bag. Let's go. So, what I really recommend for a car seat. Well, that's coming up later. We don't need to pack it in the suitcase or in the bag, but that's coming up. But yes, you're going to want your car seat in your car. And socks, I would say baby grows are fine because they cover their feet. Yeah? Okay, so, partner, one change of cool clothes. Now, the reason I say this, it's so hot. I've talked about this before. It's so hot in the maternity unit, and even if it's a freezing cold day outside, take cooler clothes. Your partner just might need to go and put on a pair of shorts and a t-shirt, because there's nothing worse, is there, for partners if they're standing there in jeans and jumpers and sort of there for on their feet. I don't think my husband sat down for about 12 hours. It was hot and there wasn't actually a chair, and it's a kind of a situation. So take a change of clothes, definitely. Just not because you're going to be probably staying overnight, because I don't think that's actually happening a lot now in trusts, but it's more in case you're boiling hot. Partner, take snacks and drinks for yourself. Take things that you can snack on throughout the birth experience, and also coffee drinks, just in case you want a little pick-me-up. Those instant coffee drinks, if it's a nighttime labour, which we know that lots of them are, then you're going to want some caffeine to stay there and stay alert and things like that. And it's difficult for partners to find time to rest. It really is difficult to get any snippets of time. If it's a spontaneous labour, if there's an induction, you may be waiting around a lot. You want things to entertain yourselves with, but we're just, taking both into consideration. Phone charger for you, partners, take a phone charger. And also it might be well worth having a backup of the music that she has chosen to labour to. So just in case for any reason there was a problem, if music is a really important part, then you might want to have some, Spotify or iTunes with that playlist on your device as well, just in case. And you're going to want your wallet. Do not leave it at home in case you need to pop to the shop in the hospital to get more maternity pads, more paracetamol, more drinks, car parking. In the rush of leaving the house, try not to leave things like that at home as well. So you may feel comfortable packing some cash and change in the bag as well. And that's all I've put for partners. I think it's quite simple. So if I've missed anything, Red Bull, Mantinator have put Red Bull, great idea. Definitely not jeans. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So if I've left anything off, I'm really sorry. Put it in the box below and let's see. And then I've also done a section for things to leave at home, because again, speaking from experience, I packed so many things that I got home and thought, why on earth? So things like, this may be COVID related, and you might have to pack this, but can someone confirm for me, towels? I don't think you need to take your own towels. Like if you had a water birth and things like that, I don't think you do. I think that they'll provide them. But I know in COVID things can change, but I don't think you need to take towels, okay? So you can leave your towels at home. Breast pump. Now, breast pumps, I took mine to a hospital. It's very unlikely, not absolutely not, but very unlikely that you're going to need a breast pump. Breast pumps are you can use them at hospital. They're normally available at the hospital, and they should be able to provide you with one. But also, it's more the case when milk is changing, when we are, using breast pumps later on. That's when they can come into action. But in the early hours and days following birth, you are probably not going to require a breast pump. The same goes for breast pads. No harm in taking them, but it's just unlikely you'll need them. Breast pads are there to soak up breast milk, but our milk doesn't come in for about 4 to 5 days, 3 days at the earliest probably, depending on your baby. So it's unlikely you're going to require breast pads to pick up any milk, okay? Other things are baby carriers and slings. There's no harm in taking them, but it's unlikely you're going to need them. So your baby will probably go into the car seat and then into the car, unless you live walkable distance from the hospital, or that's something that you want to do, of course, but it's unlikely. Or you could, of course, leave that in the car. And lots of different swimwear for the pool. Now, this is my own confession. I took ridiculous amount of choices of swimwear for my pool, which I didn't ever get in. We don't need lots of different choices. You're probably not going to wear any of it, so don't worry about that. And you can also leave at home any scented shower gels, any perfumes, any scented face creams, anything that you think you might like for after birth, like creams and moisturizers and anything like that you might want. Don't pack it in your hospital bag. Leave it at home, and try not to wear it for a long time, because babies just want to smell you, and actually we want them to just smell you and no scents, because if they smell other things, it's masking your scent. And whole part of bonding and feeding and skin to skin is about your smell and about you, just you, okay? So you don't need any of that stuff. And actually, if people buy it for you as presents, which is lovely, I would just park it until breastfeeding is really established and a bit later on in your journey. Some things in a minute to put in the car, but someone's just asked me, should we pack formula for baby instead? Is that Christine? I presume you're talking about when your milk's not come in. We don't need formula to replace colostrum. If you're choosing to formula feed, then definitely take it with you. But babies feed off of colostrum until your milk comes in. So your milk comes in on day 3 to 5-ish. In those days before day 3 to 5, your baby feeds off of colostrum. That's there. So it's like liquid gold. It's absolutely amazing for them. And even if they have ever had one colostrum feed in their lives, it would do them the world of good. It's full of good bacteria and gut busting. Everything is in that colostrum. So no, you don't need formula to take you up to the time that your milk comes in, because you have colostrum, and it's there from the kind of final weeks of your pregnancy. That's what they survive off until milk comes in, okay? And it's amazing. So stuff to put in your car is your car seat. Now, I had a friend once go into labour about 5 weeks early, and the car seat was still in the box in the car. So on their way out of hospital, her partner was fighting to get the car seat all made up, and it took a while, and the Isofix, trying to get that in the car. So get that done. That's off your to-do list, and that stays in the car until you need to go and get it once baby's ready to go back to the car. And obviously, prams and things like that, it's not likely you're going to need them for a while, guys. So, well, not a while, but, certainly not those early days. So don't be panicking. Even if you haven't bought your pram, I don't think it's that big a deal. I would always opt for baby wearing, if you can anyway, over prams in the beginning. But yeah, don't stress about the pram. And the other thing, this is something you probably were not expecting, is I once had one of my online yoga clients message me about 11 p.m. saying, I'm in labour, I'm at the hospital, and I'm not in active labour. Now, because of COVID, she was not able to go on to her birth environment yet. She had to wait on the ward because she wasn't yet in active labour, and also that would have meant that she didn't have her partner with her, so she had to choose whether to go in without her partner and wait, or to stay out, you know, or go home again. Now her home was a good drive away from the hospital, so we voice noted and we talked a bit, and I suggested that she go for a walk. Sorry, I'll answer your question in just a moment. So for her walk, she didn't have anything warm to wear. Sorry, I'm cutting to the chase here. So she was absolutely freezing, and she said, I didn't expect this. I thought I was in established labour. I've got to hospital. I'm now out in the car park. What do I do? This is not good for my oxytocin levels. And I said, go for a walk, drive somewhere that you can go for a walk, get that baby into position, you know, get that blood flowing. But she was freezing cold. So I would highly recommend just packing a coat, blankets, warm stuff in your car, just in case that happened and you wanted to wrap up warm and go for a little stroll around your hospital grounds. Good also if you're having an induction and, you know, you've got some time to walk in the beginning, but you might be freezing cold. So put that all in your car now. All right? And I think we're done. All right? What does everybody think? What were the major boo-boos that I made there? What did I really miss off? I think that's it. Okay, so what if you're having an elective section? Any tips on what to take? There's nothing that I've thought about this, and there was nothing that I hadn't mentioned about an elective. So things like with the pants, just make sure that they're going to be not digging into where your wound will be, where your cut will be. Make sure they're nice and comfortable pants. Just while you heal, that could be quite uncomfortable. Same goes for button-up shirts. Yeah, it's the same. There's nothing. Talked about paracetamol. So there's nothing I think I would add to it. I think everything was there. Okay. Right. Oh, very impressed. Thanks for sharing. Thank you. Amazing as always. Thank you. I feel like I was running against time then in the end. Right, should we do some questions? Would you suggest any good maternity pads? None specifically, just maternity ones. I think Boots have some. You can probably get some online. Really helpful, thank you. Will you repost this? Yeah, all my videos always saved to IGTV. Cell stems, what are your thoughts? Hang on a second, let me just see. Do you recommend anything different living in the city with no car other than, I guess, taking a car seat in with you? Yeah, so take the car seat in with you. So if you're taking a taxi to the hospital, then yes, take your car seat in with you. And what else would I recommend? For things like a taxi, I would pack a little bag that you can take in the taxi that you can use there and then. So for example, the eye mask, hair ties, oils, anything that you're trying to use during labour, because we're presuming that we're in established, or we're kind of in active labour now. Put it in a little mini bag that you can take in the taxi with you, so that everything else in your bags don't have to be disturbed. Yeah, I'm glad you all enjoyed it. Thanks for your lovely comments. What to wear if you're having a water birth? Nothing. Or just the same, like just one top, or, you know, it depends on, you know, how everybody feels, but, you know, things like nighties or long t-shirts are great, so that you're covered up at the top and that your bottom's open and free to birth. I was having this chat with my husband last night because we were talking about everything. He knows nearly all the answers now to all your questions, by the way. And I said, do you remember that I was just completely stark naked? I just had this urge to get completely butt naked, and I stayed butt naked my entire birth. So I wouldn't overthink it. Maybe just a long t-shirt, or do you know what was also great? I didn't say this earlier. Feeding tops are great. Damn it, I said about button-up shirts, I left it out. So tops that you can unclip and take down if you're wanting to breastfeed, they're great as well, because they're normally camis, so they're really nice and cool and airy. but you can just easily access a feed as well. So they're really, really good tops. And you can get those just in the high street shops or online, or you could borrow some from a friend. They're not the most glamorous tops, but it doesn't matter. Or you might just want to get feeding bras that you can put under a baggy t-shirt. So then you pull the t-shirt up, unclip, pull the bra down. Okay? Sorry, I missed that one off. All right, handheld fan, good one. Fan, face water spray. If it's the summer, that's a great idea. A fan is fantastic. Gosh, well done. You're all very welcome. I'm really pleased that you enjoyed the talk. I'd love to see your pictures of you packing your bags now. You should take a screenshot and send it to me. I'd love to see you packing your hospital bags. Thanks for all helping each other as well. Towels and bin bags for the car. Good idea. You might want a towel in the car if your waters are going. Mightn't you? You might want to sit on a towel. If your waters are leaking, then that's a good idea. Like that one. I would take a pram as the car park can be miles away. Good idea. Although your partners can drive up to pick you up. So I wouldn't worry too much. I wouldn't want anyone to be walking too far after giving birth. Definitely. So partners can come to the door and pick you up in the car. All right. My first was tongue-tied and couldn't latch, so midwives provided formula as I couldn't express colostrum quickly. Then we had to buy our own and bring it to hospital. I'm taking some this time in case. Yeah, that's a great idea. I formula fed my eldest after trying to breastfeed, but because I wasn't sure how it would go with my second, I just had some in the house. It made me feel better, just made me feel more relaxed. Personal choices, but for me, just, you know, I knew from our experience the first time round that having just something there made me feel quite calm. Getting bags either at the front door or already packed in the car. Yes, great idea. So once the bags are packed, put them in the car or put them at the front door. If you're planning a home birth, I'm sure you'll already have switched off by now, but I have got a video all about packing a home birth box. And in that video, I also mentioned leaving a hospital bag near the door as well. So just grab and go. So that's good. Would I suggest colostrum harvesting? I don't know. I know about it, but I don't know what my thoughts are because it can be really great, but also there seems to be a lot of pressure about it now, whereas I didn't feel that I think that's in the last year or so, I think there's been a lot more talk about it. What I would do is ask a breastfeeding counsellor or a lactation consultant what their thoughts would be. There's no harm in it at all. It can be great, especially if babies, need to have some assessments done after birth, or there's a reason why they might need to go and be looked after, and it might really be a great idea to have had some colostrum harvested. So that's great, but I probably wouldn't be able to give you the thoughts on it. So you could go check out the Newborn Journey Instagram. Sam, who I've done lives with before, or go check out Zara, Doulabud, or Lucy Webber. Maybe I can post them on my stories later, but they'll definitely be able to help you more, okay? My milk doesn't come in till day 4. Baby was happy with colostrum. It's like full fat cream. Yeah, it is. It's amazing. It fills them up. Okay. I think that's it. Hand cream, good suggestion. Sanitizer could be great as well, to put some hand sanitizer in your bags. Birthing ball, great one. Yeah, I think these days with COVID, we need to take our own birthing balls. So put that one in your car, nice and early, so that's there. You might also need to take things like, if you're wanting to do any floor yoga work, I mean, you don't need to take a yoga mat at all. They will have things there, like cushions and things for the floor, but check with them, ask them. Rebozo, if you're doing any rebozo work, then you could take a rebozo with you. All right, I think we are almost there. If you're taking a birthing ball, yeah, I would take it inflated. The last thing you'll want is to be waiting for that to be inflated while you're in labour. If you're really relying on it, have it inflated in the car if you have the space, all right? How many nappies should you pack? I don't know. Pack 10. You won't need probably 10. Pack 10. You probably need about, well, it depends how long you're there, and it depends whether you need, any assistance after birth or if you're there for a couple of days, but you can go and get more, can't you? You can always go and get more. And just line your suitcase with them or your bag with them. Line it so that they're nice and flat. Don't take a whole packed bag. Just take a few out and line the bottom of your suitcase. Partners, Mantenatal, we also suggest that partners sort out the family WhatsApp group to announce the birth. That's nice as well. And that's also a lovely part of afterwards, yeah, doing all that lovely. So make sure you've got your charger. All right, I think we're there, guys. Yes, postpartum pads for mum, definitely mentioned those. They are definitely on the list. Okay, do they have to go home in a hat if it's cold? Probably. I mean, don't think they have to, but it's probably recommended, yes, if it's cold, or, you know, if they've got if they're wearing something with a little hood. But blankets are also great. So yeah, I don't actually know what the recommendations are right now, but I think probably a hat in the cold would be great. Yeah. It's more inside. When I was talking about trying to use their heads to bond and kiss and things like that, that's inside the hospital. All right, well done, guys. We've done it. That was a lovely talk. A nice subject, isn't it? It's nice and uplifting. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope that you all found this useful and beneficial, and it's given you something to think about. Maybe it's lifted your spirits a little bit. Maybe it's got you in the mood. It is a really lovely thing to do. Yes, a mask. I put it in my first list at the beginning of the talk, but pack your PPE masks in your bag as well, so that they're there. Yeah, it's a great subject. It's really exciting, and as I said before, this would definitely have been a topic that I used to think, oh, come on, you know, we know this stuff. But actually, you know, looking back on it, when I've now had my babies and I look back, I think, God, there's nothing, you know, nothing silly about really feeling excited and, you know, encouraged to pack things and make it nice and clear and all of that. So thank you for joining me. I will be live again next week on Monday. I will share the topic with you later this week. Oh, and when's it a good time to get the bag ready? Probably around 36 weeks, I'd say. 36 weeks-ish, just in case you had a bit of an earlier labour and then it's done. All right? Have a great one, everybody. I shall see you soon. And as I said before, thank you so much for joining me on these talks, being part of my people here. I love having you join me every week. I love seeing your names pop up. And I love to hear from you. So never feel that you can't get in touch or DM me. It might take me a while to get back to you, as you know, but I will get back to you. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. All right, take care. Off to do your flows now. Yay, my morning flow. Enjoy. Mwah. Oh, thank you. Missed so much off of my list. Oh, that's what I'm here for. You're very welcome. I'm really pleased it helped. See you later. Bye.